An economic storm is headed our way. I've given you the proof, but you're demanding to know how we got here in the first place. I'm Velshi. Welcome to Your Money. And as long as your politicians don't tell you the truth about our economy, I will. Slowdowns in Europe and Asia are creating economic headwinds that are strong enough to blow us into another recession. That's where we are today. But I'm so caught up in avoiding this recession that some of you think I'm not paying enough attention to how we got here. And you may be right, because we've got limited time and we need solutions. And right now, those solutions, many of them, lie with Congress. But there are causes, and there are many of them. A simple answer would be the cleanest, the most convenient. It's out-of-control deficits, or it's stimulus. It's Barack Obama, or it's George W. Bush, but it's just not that simple. It's not that satisfying. One cause, however, does stand out amongst many: cheap and ample credit. For years, the ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising. People felt, and in many cases actually were, wealthier than their salaries or their socioeconomic status would suggest. Getting a loan and buying a house, often more house than you needed or would have even expected to buy, made you feel wealthier. As more people bought those houses, your net worth increased. You borrowed against that house, maybe. Maybe you put your kids through college with the money. Maybe you bought another house, or you financed a small business. Maybe there wasn't even a house involved. Maybe you did all of those things on low-interest credit cards or other kinds of loans, but it doesn't really matter because generally economies were strong and you had a job. Even if the job wasn't getting much better and your wage generally wasn't growing, you were, for all intents and purposes, getting more prosperous. And because of that, you weren't complaining. Cheap and ample credit masked a lot of problems, the most serious of which was that income inequality was growing. But until the house got blown down, there was no class war. There was no 99%. There were no protesters in the streets. Politicians and policymakers didn't have to address the underlying reasons for the trend. Seriously, why fix something that no one thought was broken? Easy credit means that while India was focused on educating workers, the U.S. was falling behind. While China was building world-class infrastructure, the U.S. was crumbling. While Germany was establishing itself as the factory floor of the Western world, the U.S. was losing ground. We already had a consumption-based economy. We just made it bigger. People felt good. They kept up with, and in some cases, overtook the Joneses.